As also, with a case study, it's applying what you've learned in the stuff to a real life, if, scenario. The scenario obviously is hypothetical, but
Yeah.
it's just getting you to think if you were to enter the industry, what things you would have to cover. Because, short little story, they only brought in this business unit into the fitness package about 5-10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Australian government sort of realised that a lot of PTs, the turnover rate for a PT or just in the fitness industry was only about 12 months.
Yeah.
So they sort of thought, oh, well, we've just got to do something about that. So they sort of thought to themselves, oh, well, if they can write good programs, but sort of just give them a few ideas on how to, run the business and all that. So it's actually not bad, I think, because at some stage you'll probably, whether it be fitness or something else, this stuff's sort of good to know about. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, the dot points that I did. So the first one is So and that's good how you can answer it as subheadings because
Right. Yeah.
like that's good. Like by answering as subheadings, like you sort of, to me, the way I read it is you're sort of ticking off, like the question says, in order for your answer to cover. So if you cover
Yeah.
a dot point, to me, that's good. You've covered the question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's how I did the tutor notes. And what I did was the first part is just talking about the business registration or licensing. So did you happen to go to that website or those websites?
Yeah, I did. I looked up what they actually meant and everything like that. So I didn't actually know what ACN was and ABN. I'd never, didn't actually know exactly what they were for. So I went in and had a look what exactly they were. So yeah,
That's
that
good.
was right. Yeah.
And that's probably a good take home for you, just good knowledge to learn is like ABN, a lot of industries.
Yeah.
I pretty much guarantee you'll probably get an ABN in your lifetime.
Yeah.
If you, for example, if you just work for someone and you're on a casual basis, they literally, you have an ABN number and you send them an invoice,
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
A
Uh-huh.
lot of tradies will do it, if they're a concreter and they're doing a bit of work for a builder, he'll just
Yeah.
do 6 hours of work, send him an invoice, go like that. So
Yeah. Okay.
ABNs, as you could see, I'll just get it up as well, because I've got one myself, but I did it years ago. That's the ABN. Yep. So it's pretty cruisy.
Yeah.
And you clicked on these, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So ABN, that's just to get your number. A business name would be like trademark. So like if you wanted to do, Harry Edwards PT or like that,
Yeah.
might be taken. So you got to double check. The ACN, I don't think you probably have to, don't worry about for now, but just put it down what you think it is. I would read into it. ACN is more if you're going to do a company, larger scale.
Okay.
So in the future, you probably wouldn't be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. So so just sort of put something down for each one, I guess. And so you've done that, ACN, registered for that. Requirements, yep, so you've mentioned for that. Licensing is Fitness Australia, blah, blah, blah. Hey, just on this one here, with the
Yeah.
licensing, just put down after requirements, just down, this can also include
Yeah.
council permits.
Okay.
And then in brackets, outdoor fitness training, close brackets, and music licensing.
Music.
Yeah, music licensing. So
Oh, okay.
technically, if you've got a gym and you're using, it's more for group classes like spin, body attack, because they sort
Yeah.
of technically if you're doing a spin class because you're doing it sort of to music, technically because you're using their music as part of your profession, technically it's copyrighted to a degree.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think with most like gyms, like just say, like a lot of gyms around the Shire where I'm from, they're all the sort of the warehouse gyms, CrossFit style.
Yeah.
They wouldn't worry about that. But definitely for those choreograph classes, those classes, body fit, spin classes for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny, you go into them and you hear like a song, but then it's like it's a cover song, like done by someone else.
Yeah.
So it's almost like when you go to it's like when you go to a crappy Chinese or Thai restaurant and they have like the instrumental version of I don't know if you heard it.
Nah, yeah.
Like a cover song of some famous song. So it's
Yeah.
all like that. It's all like that. So
Yeah, right.
but you probably don't have to worry. So yeah, that's that. We got business structure. So with that one, so see like the second one, determine the business structure you have chosen.
Yeah.
So just rework that to say the business structure that I've chosen.
Okay.
Because this is case study, this is task one. So throughout the other tasks, like they sort of make it where you sort of choose your business and then you sort of follow that sort of idea right through.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so just have a think about what you do. So just tell me what you sort of just, if you had to pick one, like hypothetical.
Yeah.
What you do.
Oh, I'd probably do partnership, mainly because obviously the cost in it, and then also the working with someone else. Just basically, yeah. Also, just having like working with someone else to get your ideas and like just having that extra hand to help you start up.
Yeah, and even accountability as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, just that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Sweet. So determine the business structure you've chosen and explain why it's suitable. So just pretty much what you said there. What you said, suitable for the business as startup costs are low, more capital is available, and then just even say, and also, it would enforce accountability to get work done. Sweet. So the legislation. So I'll have a tutor notes on my screen if you want to sort of look on mine to answer. Might make it a bit easier so you're not flicking back and forth.
Yeah.
So the things I put down for that, it was, so determine the legislation and regulatory requirements under the structure. So it's sort of talking about, so I did an example here that what are the laws surrounding the business structure, registering the business, must have qualifications, regulation. So pretty much, let's go to, I'll go back to this one here.
Yeah.
Let's actually do ACN because it might be a company if you're going to do a partnership. We'll do that. We'll go to next. Right. Okay. So here you go. So this would be if you're going to do. So you selected a business, ABN and a company. I'm just looking to see where it has partnership. If there's any sort of specific. Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure there's no like specific things that for a partnership you have to do. All they need, you can see here. It says here that you've got to do a like this is what you need to provide to the I guess business.gov. So they just require all these evidence here. So it doesn't say that because they do want evidence of the structure.
Yeah.
So that's where you just talk about, it's a partnership. But there's no actual like difference that if you're going to do an ACN for a partnership compared to a sole trader.
Oh, okay.
It just sort of says here that as long as you provide the evidence, like this is the checklist, business structure, business activity. There's no specific registration for a partnership. You just got to so you just be going through the same process here, I guess.
Yeah.
So in terms of question, so I would just be writing down the process of registering our business as a partnership would mean we still have to go through the same business registration, and then put in brackets ABN, comma, ACN, comma, GST. And then they are asking about what some just regulatory requirements that you need to do. So in the industry, technically, so for you to register a fitness business, you would also have to, like specific things for fitness. I'll put this on the tutor notes. I put down just here, so I'll highlight it. Just say also being a fitness business, comma, both owners must have current qualifications, which would be, putting brackets, Cert 4 in fitness, close brackets. Then just put down, so with the insurance, a lot of people get business insurance as a, sorry, there's two types of insurance. You could do, let's just say I work for Good Life Gym.
Yep.
If I generally, by being a PT at that gym, I essentially run my own business. I pay them rent per week.
Okay.
So because I'm sort of like a sole trader, they call it, I would have my own personal insurance.
Yeah.
But if you were to say to have your own premises, or probably a partnership, you'd have, so even if you have people working for you, they still have all their own personal insurances to cover them, but you'd have to have, I guess, like business insurance just to cover the business.
Okay.
Which, because like, you know, if you have members, or even if like other people come onto your business, you know, you'd have to cover, just to have, you know, insurance for that. So just say if you need to have insurance, and then put in brackets, I'd say personal and business insurance. Then the final thing would be and registration with Fitness Australia.
Yeah.
Actually, and putting brackets after that, registration would be as a business. So similar thing with Fitness Australia, you have to either register as a PT, or you got to register as a business.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So actually, you know what? Just go through. Actually, I can do it for you if you like. Just to I'll just make it nice and clear. So,
yeah, cheers. Yeah. So all fitness business and stuff, they have to go through Fitness Australia. Is that the?
Definitely businesses. Yeah. So you can't get registered as a business without having Fitness Australia registration. So if you walk into most gyms, you'll see they'll have like on the front desk, they'll have like the business registration with Fitness Australia. Every gym, I think by law, they've got to have that sort of on the wall when you walk in.
Yeah, right.
With like if you're a PT though, you can sort of get around it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like some gyms, or most gyms won't really hire you unless you do have your registration, because it just helps them out. Like it covers them that they've got a person who's registered and insured. But some gyms you can sort of get around it to a degree. But,
yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
I don't know. For the most part, I mean, it's like probably $100 a year, but you can claim it on tax, so you probably get it back anyway. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not too bad. The next part, if you want to copy that section down, put it in as a heading. Identify the taxation principles and requirements relevant to your structure and outline what procedures need to be followed. So I'll get on my screen. I put down the main things you'd probably need to consider would be registering for tax. The first one, I've got a link I'll get up here as well.
Yeah.
The second one would be registering for a GST. And And the third one, I'm guessing, would be you just sort of probably have to do a thing called PAYG, which is pay as you go. Because just say if you go, where do you work at the moment?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm just doing a little bit of labouring just twice a week. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be different. Well, let's just say, for example, you work at the Coogee Pav, just
Yeah.
as a glassy.
Yeah.
So if you did a shift there, or say 2 shifts, you get your weekly pay. Let's just say you did, 20 hours, we'll just say $20 an hour, just to make it nice and clear. $200, whatever. So in your pay slip, you might have made $200, but then they tax you. So you only take home, I'll just say the tax is, 20 cents a dollar. So you would only take home 160 because you've paid tax.
Yeah.
So what a lot of businesses have to do is, like, let's say if I PT you, and you pay me $80 for the hour. I mean, a lot of businesses, they have to register for pay as you go, which is paying your tax as you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like some people might just think, oh, great, I get $80 in the hour in the pocket, but then they haven't been paying that 20% tax that you did on the other job. So then they get to tax time, and there's if you add it all up, they get hit with if they make $100,000, you're getting hit with a $20,000 tax bill, probably more. So that's what PAG sort of stands for. So probably just put those as 3 dot points, and sort of just say to yourself, in the answer, just say, the most important things that I need to consider for my business will be, and then if you like, on the tutor notes, I've put down the 3 dot points here.
Okay.
Or you just go and grab those 3 sub dot points, and we'll just talk about each one. So the first one is registering for tax, and we'll just simply say this is important because, and then registering for GST. This is important because. All right, let's go back to here. How'd you go on the weekend, by the way? Get a win?
We had a buy. So that was all right. We got a big game Friday against Penrith, so that'll be before the NRLs.
So that'll be good.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. Yeah.
And that's out at the Riff?
Yeah, going to be pretty cold. I think it's at 5:45 or something. Yeah, it's going to be a bit cold. Yeah. So.
And they're I think they're sort of second or third.
Yeah, they're around there. They're up the top, so it'll be a good game actually. Yeah, it'll be a good one. So.
Yeah, nice.
There we go.
All right. Got those. Cool. All right. Registering for tax, because let's do that one first. So I'll get on my screen if you like.
Yeah.
So as I said, this is the business registration. So we've got registered business with ABN, and we've got registering for GST and other taxes. So let's have a little. Yeah. So the first step is if you already have an ABN. So always the first step's the ABN. The second one is, if you've got an ABN, register here for other taxes like pay-as-you-go GST. So it's going to be us. So the first one is, well, this is registering for tax, isn't it? We'll do pay as you go. All right, have a little bit. So you must register for pay as you go, as you are required to make a payment. So pretty much, let's just summarize the pay as you go. Essentially, like what I said, is the main thing. Like it's just a business. It's a business requirement as well that you need to register for it, so they can track all the tax things. So do the pay as you go. You probably don't need to do tax because, so probably delete just change the tax there. Change it to pay as you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the 2 taxes are pay as you go and GST. So the first one I said wasn't really important. Registering for pay as you go is important because, it is a requirement of business registration.
Yep.
And so comma, it allows for a more accurate cash flow, and essentially, and you are not hit with a large tax bill at tax time.
Yep.
Because yeah, the thing about cash flow, for example, is if you're trying to run you've got weekly bills to pay, and all of a sudden you hit with a 20 grand tax bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
GST. Let's have a look at that. All right, so you can see my screen, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is good to know because not everyone needs to do GST. But
Okay.
let's have a read about it. So it's saying when to register. So if you're not registered, blah blah. So when you must register for GST if your business has a GST turnover, so gross income for all the businesses of 75 grand or more.
Yeah.
And then when you start a new business and you expect your turnover to reach the threshold in the first year. So if you start a new business and you think that you're going to reach up to 75 grand,
Yeah.
you just got to register for it. You might not pay much for it, but you just got to register for it because GST, as you might know, is just goods and services tax. So they brought it, it's just a government tax. They brought it in about 20 years ago. It's usually 10%. So if you're making a certain amount, you've just got to pay 10%. Of your business needs to go. So just say why is it important for you would be registering is important because if our business turnover reaches 75,000 in a year, we will be liable to pay GST. Yeah, and I mean, don't write this down, but you can see here it just says how to register. So you just simply register online. It's easy. If you don't register, it just says here you'll be required to pay after blah blah blah. So cool. There's probably another thing which we should have probably mentioned, but don't worry about it. So this thing called BAS, business is called, you might have heard about it, it's called Business Activity Statement.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So usually each year a business has to, if you're a registered company, you've got to do a thing called a BAS, which is a business activity. So it's just literally, you actually have to log, like the activity statement is like you've got to show all the activities. So I'm guessing it would be like, you've got to have show all your income, show all your costs, blah, blah, blah. So it's a big statement about all the things.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm guessing it'd obviously be so the government can sort of see it's all legit and you're not, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, sweet. All right, let's get finishing in this one. It's the last part. All right. All right, copy that one down. So last one is identify options for leasing or ownership of a business premises and highlight what contribute. So again, this is just going to be depends on what sort of case study business idea that you might sort of follow through through the case study. I'm guessing that, like, just say if you were to rent, for example, a gym or a space, they're just sort of talking about, like, I put down here, will you be leasing the space for your business? What will the terms of that lease be? If you have a location, what would the rules of the area be? However, if you were going to, like, you might start off, maybe to make it easy for yourself, like you might start off as an outdoor trainer.
Okay. Yeah.
Until you build up a bit of a clientele, and then if you have, because like if you go out and lease, a premises, straight off the bat, you haven't got any business, you haven't got any clients. The first month or two, you're paying, the rent with no clients. So a lot of PTs either start at a gym, build client bases up, and then go out themselves, or they might start out in a outdoor business, get a client base, and then lease out a place.
Okay.
So probably up to you. Probably be easy to choose the second two options, because if you do pretend like you're doing your case study is going to be at a actual facility, you're probably going to have to write a lot more about the facility and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did it at, let's say you and the business partner just did an outdoor business, like you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
So I probably do that option, I reckon.
Probably do that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So with that, just answer those sort of sub questions. So I've got on my screen here. So I've sort of said the first part would be, you actually don't have to write the question. Just write down. Our business would be an outdoor business.
In an outdoor setting. Yeah.
Outdoor setting using parks around, and then it's talking about the location. So say around the eastern suburbs or wherever, and then just also say next sentence would be, it is a requirement of, what's the council called? Is it Waverley Council?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a requirement of Waverley Council that all outdoor fitness businesses are registered with the council. And I think it's pretty easy. So here you go. Any health and fitness activities for commercial gain are governed by the council. Blah, 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 application. So you just got to usually fill out a form. So there are categories you can see here.
Yeah.
Category 1 is just where you're doing small people, no fixed location. Category 2 is where you're sort of having a fixed location, blah, blah, blah. And here you go. There are some guidelines here. So if you're running an outdoor group on Bondi Beach on the sands, this is quite interesting actually. You can't have more than 20 people.
Yep.
Marks Park, Bronte. Yep. How to apply for a permit. Yep. So you go to that. Read the policy, download a form, and pay the fee. So that's pretty cruise. What is the form actually? Let's see the price. I know around the Shire used to be around. They brought it in about 20 years ago. So when it started off, it was pretty cheap, but I think they've gone up now.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell you.
Oh,
yeah. Well, even there, see how you've got to have your ABN there. ABN.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So Waverley, because they're probably pretty busy. Most councils wouldn't do this, but they actually ask for you to have preferences. They must have so many outdoor PTs, so they must say, you know what I mean? Like they might only have, like, let's say if you put down Bondi Beach Park, they might have like a quota. They might already have 15 people registered for there. They might say, sorry, that area is full.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, so that's that. What else we've got to put down? Permits, contractual obligations. I think we've covered that. Yeah, that's probably the main thing, because we're an outdoor business, so we don't have to really worry about the business premises, really. So, sweet. All right, next question.
Sweet.
Again, for this one, you can probably just make sure you cover each of the 4 dot points. So I would just start off with a sentence saying, in our outdoor business, we will endeavour to meet the following areas by, and then we'll just talk about them. And this is why it's probably easy if you do an outdoor business, because like for the first one there, like WH&S, if you actually had your own gym, you'd actually have to talk about all the policies and sort of routines you have to put in place to make sure the gym gets cleaned daily and checked weekly and machines and stuff. So for you, what policy and procedures do you have to put in place to make sure? So for WH&S, you just say, put first dot point, WH&S equals, just say, we would ensure we conduct a risk assessment before outdoor sessions. By checking the ground. and area and surrounding area. That's probably enough for that one. Staff. Next dot point would be staff.
Yeah. Is that just?
So I put down on the things there. So how will you ensure your staff are compliant with all the areas of business? Again, if you're running a business, it'd be a lot more of a concern for you guys. Just say, as a business partnership,
Yep.
comma, we will be accountable to each other and set calendar reminders. Set calendar reminders to ensure our qualifications are up to date. So that could be like, for example, if you're both going to do your first aid every year, like you might be responsible to book the first aid on a weekend, do it together.
Yep.
Because I know it's always a punch to do. But if you got someone to do it together with, makes it a bit easier.
A bit easier.
Yeah. Next one's talking about consumer.
Yeah.
I just put down in the notes here, so it's just saying, how would you follow consumer law? So consumer just obviously means the clients. How would you have policies in place to make sure that the clients are not being ripped off or blah, blah, blah. So I just put down, you can probably follow this. I put in the notes there, ensuring that you're aware of your business registration and following the Fitness Australia Code of Ethics. So you probably just put those two ones down. They're on the notes there.
Yeah.
And just to say, we would ensure that we are aware of the limitations of our business registration. So put out business registration with the government and the council.
We are aware
of our business registration with the government and the council. Because we saw on that website, see how it had all those, like, you couldn't go to this area or that park and things like that. So
those limits. Yeah.
The limits, yeah. So I'll just say you'd be aware of those things, what you can and can't do, and follow the Fitness Australia Code of Ethics.
Yep. So
on the Fitness Australia website, technically, if you register with Fitness Australia, that'd be a thing that you tick off that you can, do you agree to follow all the Code of Ethics? And the Code of Ethics is just a document showing that, when you're in the industry, you'll operate with integrity and honesty and things like that. So it's just it's not saying it's illegal, but it's just like more of a morals, and you act in that correct way and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like who is it? If you're a footy player, you won't try to get a flight if you're intoxicated.
Yeah. Bloody rads. Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Last one is insurance. So just say, so that's pretty similar to the staff. So just write down for the insurance. We will make sure that our business is registered for the correct insurance by setting a yearly reminder. And most of these things are pretty good these days. Like I know with my car, for example, I get an email every year when my car's about to be So these days it's pretty easy. You don't have to. A lot of these things get sent to you. All right, 1.3. Again, this is good that you've done outdoor business because it makes this question a bit easier. So we've got identify and plan all the WHS and duty of care responsibilities. So just write down being an outdoor business, comma, our WHS requirements isn't as exhaustive.
Yep.
Isn't as exhaustive as I'll say proper gym, but as a physical location gym. Full stop. However, there are certain requirements we must follow. The requirements we must follow, including, and then we can just sort of dot point these. So probably the first one would be, so identifying plants. So the first one would be, technically, if you're doing it, if you're doing a outdoor session, technically you are meant to do a thing called like a risk management, I think it is. So,
okay. Yeah.
So just write down ensuring risk assessment.
Yep.
Forms are conducted each session. And I mean, you probably wouldn't do these, but as long as you just sort of make it in your head, I'll put that down anyway. But if you were just double checking, the facility, the places are fine.
Uh-huh.
But I know as a high school teacher, like when we went out to we go to grade sport, for example.
Yeah.
We had a one. It was pretty easy, a 1 page like tick box thing, and they just told us every time you do sport, just tick off that all those questions like was there any potholes? Like no, was the surface fine? Because technically they say, and I can understand, they say to us that if a student say broke their ankle and then sort of hit the school up and said, oh hey, look, you didn't provide a safe environment, I think you'd be able to sort of show the form and say, hey, look, we checked it all before it, sign it, dated it.
Yeah.
Not our fault. But in this circumstance, you'd but you know what, even still, like you could almost like set a reminder like once a week. At the end of the week, you just simply do them all once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Once a month. Yeah. What are some other things you reckon? If you had an outdoor business, like things that just to make sure everything's safe and stuff,
Would you go? Would you say? Well, it's not really. Would you say like it's how do you say it's got to be? Well, it's got to have like I don't know, like it's not really safe, is it? But like public toilets, or I don't know, something like it's got to. I don't know. It's not
access to
access to stuff. Yeah, like
100%.
Yeah.
Just say access to, or ensuring proper access to facilities, i.e. public toilets. Because I mean, if you had someone who was sick or whatever like that, or if you didn't have that and stuff. Probably next thing you probably just say is just say providing safe equipment for all sessions. And then probably the last thing is just ensuring all sessions. This is an easy way of saying it. You can just simply say ensuring all sessions comply with the Fitness Australia outdoor training guidelines, and then putting brackets found on website. So instead of listing, like, we're not going to list like ensuring you got sunscreen, ensuring that everyone's got water, blah blah blah. We'll just simply say we'll comply with those guidelines. That covers all of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Boom. All right. Last one for this one. 1.4 is all right. So SWOT analysis. It's just talking about considering your operations. Conduct a risk analysis of your business. So explain all the areas you considered and some strategies to reduce or eliminate risk. So I'll get the slides up. You can answer these. So what are your business? What are the business / your strengths? So that's the first box. So just say I believe, or I believe that, and just put down our strengths include, and just write about them. And here's some examples I'll put on the slides. I want to read those for inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Probably a big one for you guys is obviously being sort of semi-pro athletes. Compared to just a regular guy your age, you've probably you've got a higher level of training. exposed to that training environment, coaches. So you can probably say that, that's probably compared to people your age. Obviously, maybe other PTs might still have more, but in relative terms, probably also, I guess the benefit of being younger, you could say, compared to say older PTs who might be great, but you might say our strength would be being a bit more utilizing technology or utilizing sort of new ways of training, or being open to new ways of training. What else? I'll put down strong presence in the local community. So if you might have grown up in the area, you might know a lot of people. Footy is a good place for networks. Definitely gives you good that network. The next one is weak. So keep going with that. But next one is your weaknesses, which is obviously just what things you might find. I put down, inexperience. Could be like not much capital in the bank to start up. Lack of time. Whatever you think.
For weaknesses, what else?
What have I put down? How's your I probably another maybe a weakness of a partnership. If you're going to look at a partnership, would be conflicting schedules.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So conflicting schedules between the two owners. So opportunities, what that sort of means is like sort of what do you see? I'd just say before you enter the market, what do you sort of see as an opportunity? Essentially like if a business was to start and you didn't see any opportunity, you wouldn't be starting. So like what are the sort of reasons? I know this is hypothetical, but if you were to do this, what would be opportunities? So I put down, well, this isn't true for your area, but I put down there might be no similar business in the area. You've got great business partners who are both young and enthusiastic and motivated. That's probably one you could do about that. You say you've got a like-minded partner who's keen to give it a go, or can-do attitude. You can even flip that and say, how we identify those, shitloads of businesses in the area. You could even sort of say that's an opportunity because you just simply say there's a strong demand for fitness services in the local area. And probably another opportunity would be you just maybe say as an outdoor business, it is a low cost and low risk venture. So it's not like if you're a lot of people buy businesses. Let's just say, for example, if there was a business for sale, just say I wanted to buy a Subway, which is a franchise, so I can buy a local Subway. That would be obviously higher risk because you'd have to cough up all the money for it. You'd have to invest all your time and things like that. Whereas this little maybe side hustle, you just need some basic equipment. The main cost really is just like your time, really, just giving up some time, which is there's no cost in that really. For threats, I put down. Again, I'd probably put down to say there are a lot of trainers already registered in the local area, so that would definitely be a threat. And probably another threat for you, which we just discovered today, was if you were to do it around there, for example, would be the
amount.
Well, firstly the amount of trainers, but also just the fact that you've got to almost be consigned to one area, I guess, would be a bit of a threat to your business because you don't have. So how we say is, you say lack of flexibility in training locations. Because like that's probably the big appeal, I'd say, as being an outdoor trainer, is you can literally like just say, hey guys, we're training here today, we're doing this today. And
Yeah.
I knew in the Shire, like I used to take clients out to the Wanda Sand Dunes. I don't know if
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if I actually only had to do one little bit of grass, then screw that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty crap. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep, they'll do. All right, turn it in.